Hey everyone, welcome to Adventures in Everyday Cooking, where every day can be an adventure in your kitchen. My name is Heather, and today we're doing rotisserie chicken in our Deluxe Air Fryer. Now, if you don't have a Deluxe Air Fryer, this video might not be for you, but hold on, it might be for you because this might just convince you to get one. Now, this is not a plug in any way for you to buy from me because I am a consultant, but there are millions of consultants out there who love this machine and think very fondly of it like I do. So if after this video you're like, that's worth its weight in gold, I want one, hook me up, I'll leave a link. But if you have a consultant, go hit her up, him up, them up, until you have yourself a Deluxe Air Fryer, because this guy is the best air fryer. Let me show you again. It's the best air fryer I've ever used, and you know that I have used quite a few if you've been on this channel for a little while. Okay, enough about that. We are gonna rotisserie our own chicken, and I'm gonna show you how exactly to do a rotisserie chicken in the Deluxe Air Fryer and the cheater's way. That's the way that I do it almost all the time, but I'm gonna show you the real way and the cheaty kind using, yes, the basket. Are you ready for this adventure? If you have a Deluxe Air Fryer and you want to rotisserie your chicken, here's what you're going to need. You are going to need a chicken, 5 pounds or under. And it's important that you kind of stay under 5 pounds because anything bigger will flop around in there and bad things will happen. So 5 and under, try to keep it at 5 and under. The other thing you're going to need is some oil, some salt, and your favorite seasoning. Those of you who know me, you're gonna guess, and you're gonna be right. I'm gonna use Kinder's. So we're gonna use Kinder's wood-fired garlic on this rotisserie, and we're gonna have a lot of fun doing it. So let's go. Okay, so here is the rotisserie pieces that we are gonna need for this recipe. So what I like to do if I'm actually doing a rotisserie is go ahead and get the first little spike installed on there like this and just twist it down so it's tight. The next thing we're gonna need is some kitchen twine. Now, how much kitchen twine you're going to need, it will depend on how good of a Girl Scout or Boy Scout you are. I was a Girl Scout. We didn't do a lot of knot tying, so I'm not very good, but I like to give myself plenty. So here we have a 4.5 pound rotisserie chicken. And what I'm going to attempt to do is cut the top off and keep all of those extra juices inside. So out comes our chicken. And look at that, I kept most of the juices in there. Yay me. And down it goes. Boy, she a beaut. And I will keep an unsanitary towel nearby so that I can wipe my hands, and that's gonna go right into the dishwasher. Not dishwasher, the stove, not the stove. Laundry. It's gonna go right into the washer when we're done. Okay, so here's our beautiful chicken. Hi everyone. I'm not sure what his name is, but we'll just call him Fred. Okay, so we're gonna take Fred and we are going to dry him off with paper towels, not your kitchen towel. And we're just gonna pat him dry, kinda. Get in between their little pits and their little booty. He looking pretty dry. All right, and if you're not a fan of any of the extra skin, just clip that off, which I am not. Also, if there's any giblets, which I totally forgot to check for, get those out of there because you are not gonna want to, nobody wants to see that. Okay, I'll be right back. I will save said giblets for gravy or stock later, but I don't need them in my rotisserie chicken. All right, now that we're giblet free, I'm gonna go ahead and stick a paper towel in there and just dry it out a little bit. And I'm gonna go ahead and trim off a little bit more of this neck skin. All right, I think that is as dry as this guy is gonna get. And I'm gonna go ahead and wash my hands just real quick and dry them with paper towel, not my dirty rag, because I'll get to the dirty rag again in a second. But this is what we're gonna do. We're actually going to salt and season this whole bird. I also portioned out my salt, probably more than I need, but I portioned it out because I didn't want to get my salt all nasty either. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna sprinkle salt everywhere It's important that you open up your wings, sprinkle it inside the wings, sprinkle it inside the armpits of your chicken. We're also going to sprinkle it on the inside of the chicken, and we're going to turn it over and do the same thing on this side. All right, and now with my clean hand, I'm going to open up my wood-fired garlic, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to cover it everywhere. And if you have never had the wood-fired garlic seasoning before, it's one of my son's favorites. And now we're gonna take it and we're gonna pat. Okay, over there now. Actually, I'm gonna set it off to over here because this hand is still gunk-free until this moment when I start to get it all over. And once your chicken looks well seasoned, look at that, looking pretty good. You're looking fantastic, sir. We're going to go ahead and tie it up. Okay, and we're gonna take one of these guys and we are going to tie the 2 feet together. First, loop it around a couple times. And I'm no good at tying, remember? Do you remember this conversation we just had? So I'm gonna do the best that we can. I always try to cross my feet rather, and then bring it back up around, and we'll call that tied together. Okay, the other thing we're gonna wanna do is we're gonna want to tie up this little bit right here. So you can either take this same tie and just tie it around. We're gonna just take what's left over and tie it like this, or you can grab another piece of string and just tie that, just tie it up to the legs. Just because we don't want that to drag on the ground either. So then now we have the little tail tied up to the legs. So now the tail and the legs are all together. All right, next we're gonna take care of these wings. Now we have to decide how modest we want this chicken to be. There are people who will just tuck them right next to each other and just tie it like that. There are also people who tie them like this so that they're kind of covering their business. That's fine too, but I have found that tucking them in like this makes it easier to turn in the rotisserie. When they're up on the top of the breast area, this little wingtip tends to accidentally whack the guard at the top of the machine, which is no huge deal. But then again, when you're in the middle of cooking dinner and you hear this thunk, 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 you'll be like, what is that noise? What is going on? Is the chicken alive? No. So when you tie these up, make sure that you have the wings tucked in there really well. And you're just going to tie, tie, tie. And if you are unsure that you got the tie tight enough, you're gonna take your next one, which is why I got 3. I'm gonna do that again, just a little bit lower. And when I think that my chicken is tied up as securely as possible, I'm gonna check my work and just make sure that I think everything's gonna stay. I think everything's gonna stay. Now, anything that I rubbed off, I'm gonna take the leftover and just going to pat, 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 pat. He still looks fantastic. See that? Look at that, all tied up, ready for our rotisserie. Okay, let me wash my hands once more. Now comes the point where you get to decide how healthy or how unhealthy you want this bird to be. We usually like to put a little bit of olive oil on our bird. So I'm gonna go ahead and just drizzle him with olive oil, and we're just gonna lightly dab, just so that everything has a little bit of crispy on it. All right, and when you have ensured that everything is covered in a little oil, if that's what you're going to use, we're gonna clean things up just a little bit, and then we're gonna get this installed on our spit. We're gonna turn him over breast side up, and we are going to take our rotisserie and we're gonna put it in the neck side. So we're going to shove it right in here, and then we are going to make sure that these hooks actually poke into the meat. So just like that. Now, it is important that there is plenty of room between where the chicken ends and the machine starts. All right, look at there. So it's sticking out this other side right here, right under that tail area. And I'm going to take my other piece of fork and I'm actually going to shove it into the meat and get it clipped over the top of that ridge. Now, this is where it's gonna depend on your size of chicken, because I'm gonna wanna push pretty hard so that that stays in its area. And I'm gonna wanna twist this until it's tight. And then I'm gonna wanna sit it up and we're gonna do the same thing over here. We're gonna unloosen this and we're gonna push and twist. And you see how much space is left right here? We want as much space as humanly possible. So now we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna turn it over this direction. We're gonna loosen it just a little bit, maybe, there we go. We're gonna push, push down and twist so that that guy is not going anywhere. Now, I mentioned this cheater's method using the basket. Did you know that a 4.5 pound chicken will fit inside this basket? Basically, you're gonna do exactly what you just did and then stuff it into the basket. And then we're gonna put it in the same way. Now, the only thing about the basket is that the skin does stick sometimes to pieces of the basket, but when this is done, you literally are just going to open it up and kind of shake and tug the chicken out, and it comes out, and you don't have to fuss with tying it up or putting on your spit here. The other thing that you can do to get perfect rotisserie chicken is get leg quarters, or actually an already cut up piece of chicken, and then stick it into the basket and let it tumble in rotisserie the same way we're gonna let this, but then all the pieces already are cut and ready to be served. I love doing it that way, but I wanted to show you a whole chicken because this is a lot of fun. So I'm gonna go ahead and stick that in the dishwasher now that I've gummed it all up with my hands. All right, now with clean hands, we're gonna get this guy installed. This lifter goes right at those ridges, and so we're gonna lift it just like that. And we're gonna actually install it on this side, which is the star bit, first. So we're gonna bring it in, and voila. Now let's just make sure that it's in there. Okay, now we're going to set our air fryer to rotisserie for 45 minutes. And that's it. I'll be back in 45 minutes to show you the results. All right, it's nearly done. Get yourself a good pair of barbecue gloves or oven gloves that are really long so that you don't burn yourself, because you may just try to burn yourself on the little hot prongs if you're not thinking about it. So, gloved up, bum, 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 bum. Oh my goodness. And to take it out, I'm gonna stick my lifter right up in there, lift it off on the right side, and then on the left, there we go. And look at that beauty. Woo-wee! This is gorgeous. Now, remember, this is piping hot, so if you have oven gloves, this should be real easy. Loosen the little pins, slide off your fork, and then you're going to slide that out. That's dishwasher safe. And now that the hot metal has been removed, I took off my barbecue gloves, and I'm just going to snip all of my ropes. And it's a little hot, but it's not too unbearably hot. Just make sure you get all the pieces of the rope. Try hard not to break our beautiful skin, but look at how beautiful that is. Can you even believe that this beautiful rotisserie chicken came out of your Deluxe Air Fryer? Look at that. Look at that. I did temp it a couple times during cooking. Now I'm gonna let it rest for probably about 5-10 minutes so that those juices can be reabsorbed into the chicken. And then I will jump back on here and we'll cut into it and I'll show you just how perfect it is. Be right back. Okay, it's been about 5 minutes. Let's dig into this and see what we got. So I'm gonna pull the wing off with my knife, maybe. Ooh, yeah, there we go. Little wing piece. I'll deal with that later, but now you'll be able to see me slice into this bad boy a little easier. Oh man. Having a knife that cuts so nicely. I've said it before, I'll say it again. I love my knives. All right, you ready to see this? You ready? I'm gonna take off this whole breast because this is for some Tex-Mex bowls tomorrow. Trying not to touch it with my bare hands. Bum, 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 bum. Looky there. Look at this extremely juicy piece of breast. I know that there's a lot of people who do not like breast meat because it is so dry, but when you rotisserie, you guys, you will never have a better rotisserie than the one that you make at home. Look at the beautiful crispy skin on that guy. Your next potluck, they're like, hey, what do you guys want to bring? You can say, I'll bring a rotisserie chicken. And you bring this in your little baker, and people be like, oh my gosh, where did you get that rotisserie chicken? That's the best rotisserie chicken we've ever tasted. You'd be like, I made it at home. I'd be like, what? Shut up. And it was just that easy. Or you can buy a picnic pack of chicken from your grocery store, already cut into pieces, throw it in your basket, do everything we just did. And then you won't have to do this part. Always temp your chicken to about 160 or so, and then as it sits, it will reach 165. If you're worried about, under temping it, just bring it to 165 and you should be good. But those of us who are confident that it will still rise, will bring it to about 155, then it will continue to rise to 165. And once you get all of the chicken off of this bone, save this carcass and make yourself some bone broth, some chicken broth, some soup, something. Don't throw this away. But I'm gonna go ahead and get off here because now my chicken's all done and I am going to let it cool just a little bit before I package it up and have it ready for tomorrow's lunch. All right, you guys, well, if you enjoyed that video, give it a like, share it with your friends, and subscribe to my channel. I do videos several times a week and I'm always looking for the next adventure. I do rotisserie chicken a lot, so I thought I would share this adventure with you. But if you have some ideas for me, leave it in the comments below. Otherwise, I will see you on the next adventure. Bye.